live. Okay. Hi. Welcome to another Sports View, a production of Women Love Sports Too. My name is Marilyn, and I'm a Ravens fan. Let's go around the table and tell them who you are, ladies.
Go Lakers. I'm in the morning.
He's in mourning. Okay. Sonny.
So I'm Sonny the Sports Dog coming to you for about 45 minutes south of the ESPN headquarters here in Connecticut.
Okay. So NBA finals are in the record book. Celtics now have taken their 18th title, moved the Lakers out of the way. They were tied with the Lakers for the number of titles they've won, moved the Lakers out of the way, got their 18th title. And they won it on the 16th anniversary of their last title that they won in 2008. It was a decade in the making. They had an owner who really wanted to put some money into the team, and he told his other partners that they weren't going to make a lot of money. He said, your reward will be in the championships and in the parades we're going to have. So I love that kind of owner. They got 20 in 2013. They got Jaylen Brown. He was selected 3rd overall. Then a few years later, they got Jason Tatum, also selected 3rd overall. The sports podcasters and bloggers are saying they're happy. Celtics won, came back and won, but this was a boring series. What do you guys think?
Yes. It was. There was no game where you were sitting there like, oh, who's gonna win? And like when you get down to the final minutes, it wasn't like a doubt. For me, it wasn't once you reached the third quarter.
Well, the games.
Go ahead.
No, the game just seemed like there was such a dominant win in all the games in the finals. Even the next to last game when Dallas won and Boston was treating it like a practice game, it was still a big gap. So I guess that's why, people want to kind of a little back and forth, a little drama, a little, tension and real competitiveness. And I'm sure it frustrated folks.
Yeah, I was surprised the Mavs just kind of sputtered. I thought they would be. I was really expecting the games to have a lot more fire.
Yeah.
And Luka, now they say that they got to talk to him about constantly complaining about the officiating, because those people are not going to change their calls. You can sit up there and complain all you want. And also, some of the prognosticators are saying that Luka needs to get in better shape for next season. What do you guys think?
Ooh. I think he needs to. They're gonna have a statue of him doing like this in front of the arena. The complaining's not gonna do it. The defense would be nice instead of playing offense all the time. Just some defense would help. And because everyone knows I did not want Boston to win, but it's like they're going to win. Like the basketball fan in me knew Boston was going to win. It's like they're going to be a better team. They're going to win. But I expected more from Luka and Kyrie. Is like, come on, you can just play. What do you? Where's the heart?
Now, Kyrie was much better at that game in Dallas. But do you think what part of it was that the fans in Boston got to him? I mean, they were just constantly calling his name, using all kind of epithets to describe him. I mean, I know he used to play for the Celtics, and a lot of people weren't happy with him. But do you think that? I mean, he's a pro. Do you think the fans got to him? Was that it?
He was in his head.
Yeah.
He was in his head, definitely in his head. whether it was the fans
or Boston just did such a great job of scouting the other team. They knew his weaknesses and preyed on him.
But in Dallas, when they played at home, he was much better.
Really?
Yeah. So, well, they said Boston feels like, excuse me, they have the makings of a dynasty. I've been I was at home today doing a number of things, and I kept going online to see what different people were saying. There are some people who are saying, yeah, this is definitely the makings of a dynasty. Other folks who are saying, nah, dynasty, that was for the old NBA, not the current NBA. What do you guys think? Dynasty in the making or no?
I agree with those who were saying that was the old NBA. Like when Boston got most of those titles, that was back when Boston could get 11 in a row or however many they got in a row back then. That was back when that was possible. You notice they didn't get them like that after that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking
at that was Bill Russell era.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, you don't know who's coming out of the East. You don't know who's coming out of the West. Before it was, okay, you're going to have Boston and you're going to have the Lakers. You're going to have, that was the two. And then they're going to play each other. Mm-hmm. Now you don't know who's coming out. There's all these other teams. I don't know what happened to Denver, but they're still out there.
Golden State Warriors had a nice run there. They won for a couple of years in a row, but I don't know. How do you define dynasty? How do you define a dynasty?
Well, when they talk about dynasty, they're talking about like Jordan with the Bulls, 6 consecutive titles. Kobe and Shaq with the Lakers. They're talking about multiple titles in a row. And there's some that say that some of these new NBA rules that are coming down are also going to make this very difficult for one team to really dominate for years like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's too soon to call Boston a dynasty. I mean, let them get a couple more windows under their belt. I mean, they're an excellent team. They were talking about that at the beginning of the season, how Boston seemed almost flawless. But, let's see what happens next year.
It's been a while before a team that actually had the best season record actually won a championship. So, I mean, they just because they were the best team all season didn't mean they were going to win the championship. So even that doesn't mean anything as far as championships go. And if you look at the past few champions, it's been, well, they won one and then they won one and then they won one, but you don't know who's going to win the next one. So, I mean, yeah, try to go back to back. That'll be impressive. I don't want them to go back to back because, I don't like Boston. But that I would, but even that, just as a basketball fan, that would be impressive just to see if they could because of all that's out there. And let's just look on the East. Everyone was injured. You played they played injured Miami. They played injured Indiana. The Knicks, they were just struggling as far as injuries go. So
yeah, it'll be, I mean, I guess you can expect them to say that at this time, but we'll see what happens next season. It's going to be very interesting. If Luka, gets really in shape and Kyrie gets his head straight, Mavericks are going to give them a run for their money. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the top 2, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're going to combine, be making something like $600 million next year. Nice little payoff.
Nice. Jaylen Brown could buy NASA with that much money. Then he don't have to apply for an internship. He can just buy the whole place or buy his own rocket ship or something. Why not?
Okay. Um, WNBA. You guys been watching the games?
I've watched some of them, parts of some of them. Yep.
Okay.
I've been seeing the fowls.
This is gonna sound really bad, but the way they're playing, I shouldn't say they're playing like girls. I don't want to put it quite like that, but um, like when you were in junior high school, and you got the bullies around you, that's what it kind of reminded me of. They pretend like they're accidentally running into you, accidentally knocked you down, or was part of what they were doing. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But at the same time, it kind of, I hate to say, it kind of makes the game interesting because a lot of people think the NBA plays too. As one of my friends called them too polite, and I'm like, are you kidding? Have you seen any of those games? So I think it's showing that those women are in there tough, playing hard, and taking no prisoners. So,
Well, what some of the people like Jamel Hill and other longtime sports writers are saying is that the WNBA has always played this way. It's just now more people are watching the games, and even more sports writers and commentators like Stephen A. Smith, who haven't really paid attention to the WNBA, are saying, "Wait, what's happening?" And I'm a latecomer to WNBA too. I mean, mostly summertimes I watch baseball,
right.
and so they're saying that these women have played like this for years. This is nothing new, and it's just being blown up. And you have commentators like Bill Maher, saying things like, "Oh, they're just beating up on Caitlin Clark because she's straight and white." Come on.
That's ridiculous.
Bill Maher likes hearing himself talk, so
That's
he really loves the sound
ridiculous.
of his voice.
And so it's interesting. And of course, this is on the backdrop to all of the racial divisiveness and connected with the presidential race too.
Mm-hmm.
And Caitlin Clark came out this week and told the people who were, I guess, sort of fanning the flames of the race war, "Hey, that's not me. That's not what this is about."
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. And she grew up playing basketball with her brother. She's used to having elbows thrown at her. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
it's all good for the game.
she gets up and just shakes it off, just like anybody else does. Diane Taurasi called it during the NCAA championship games that, Caitlin was going to be adjustment period for Caitlin because she is a rookie. And which will kind of bring her down to earth a little bit, or people's expectations down to earth. And it would just be an adjustment period. She was like that for everybody. Everybody just reamed on Diane for saying that. But, it's true. And she's still doing okay. I mean, she's averaging 15 points a game, and that ain't bad. She's starting. So, but she's a rookie. One of the commentators said maybe she needs to bulk up a little bit more, to play with all those big players. So, but she's doing okay.
Angel Reese is getting her fair of shots at the head too.
Yeah, they're all like that. They don't mess around. So it's a rough game, whoever you play. So.
Yeah. My recollection of basketball is you get hit, and that's what I liked about it. So you're gonna get hit. I wouldn't assume it'd be different when you got to the pros.
Yeah. When they've been practicing hitting people professionally, they do it professionally now. So yeah, no, I don't think it's a big deal. I just think the media blows all this out of proportion. All of it's out of proportion.
Now, a little tennis. Yesterday on TikTok, they had a video. Serena made a TikTok where she had her hands full of all this candy, and she was like, "These are all my favorite candies," but she said something like, "I'm not eating them now." She like threw them over to the side. She said, "I got to get in shape." So a lot of people took that to mean she's coming back to tennis. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think she just wants to get in shape in general. I don't know. there's physically in shape, and then there's like the mental edge that you have when you're playing professional tennis. And she's been away, what, 2-3 years now?
Mhm.
I don't know how easy it would be to get that professional edge back.
After 2 babies.
After 2 babies, and after getting to spend time with your 2 babies. So I don't know. I mean, I guess she could still play. It just may, obviously she could go back and play. She just may not be 1, 2, 3 in the world if she just wants to, get back on the competitive circuit.
But would you want her to come back if she's number 20? Or would you want her just to stay away?
I want her to be happy. I want her to do whatever makes her happy. But yeah, it would probably make people sad to see her ranked 20. Anytime she would lose, people were like, oh. So I don't know.
Remember when Jordan came back to basketball and it was like,
That was ugly. It's not just the physical part, it's the mental edge. It's the mental edge.
Yeah.
And she was in it for so long. Now she stepped away. I mean, when she had her first baby, she was stepped away briefly. But it's been 2 or 3 years now. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of like looking at Tiger Woods, play now. It's kind of like maybe he really shouldn't be out there. Now, looking forward to the Olympics this summer. One thing I saw of interest were there are a number of older people in the breakdancing crew. This is going to be the first Olympics to have breakdancing as a sport. What do you guys think of that? Should we have breakdancing as a sport? It's, we go through these cycles where there are things that you don't think of as being part of the Olympics, and suddenly they are. What do you think?
I like breakdancing as a sport. I mean, we have
as a sport in the Olympics?
We have the ribbon thing in the Olympics. So breakdancing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean they're clearly super athletic. Probably one big solid muscle, body fat less than 20% or 10%. Yeah, I mean they're absolutely athletes. Of course, why not? It's just a different kind of athleticism, dance athleticism. I think they should absolutely. As far as the older break dancers, nowadays athletes play a lot longer. They play till they're a lot older. The same thing with break dancers, I'm sure. Break dance has been around since what, the 70s? I don't know. Hopefully nobody that old's out there, but because they go break something. But yeah, why not? I mean, the sports you've been in your whole life, and you get a chance to go out for the Olympics. Yeah, go for it. Why not?
Be interesting to see how it because have you guys seen that video of some of those break dancers from Japan? It's going to be interesting to see who wins, because some of those break dancers from Japan, I mean, they look like nobody in Brooklyn has anything on them.
Yeah.
So this is something, the hip hop culture has gone around the world.
Yeah. No, they're going to be bringing it for sure. This is not a slam dunk for the U.S. at all, not at all. So, but all these guys have been competing on the world. If they're in the Olympics, they've probably been competing on a world level anyway. Because they got these competitions all over the world. I mean, they've got a whole thing called World of Dance, right? So they're used to competing on the world level from different countries, and I think it's going to be fascinating.
And I see Sha'Carri Richardson got a big contract with L'Oreal, advertising contract.
Nice. Ooh. Is that going to be for her real hair or her extra hair?
Well, the picture I saw was her real hair. It was like a big fro.
Okay.
Not the red wig. So we'll see.
Yeah, she has fun. She has fun with her hair. So maybe L'Oreal will break out a little bit and start selling some extra hair too, and just make it really fun. So well, that's good for her.
Okay.
I felt so bad for her the last Olympics when she was supposed to be in it, and then had a positive drug test because she smoked a doobie the night after her mother died. When you smoke a doobie the night after your mother died. So so I felt really bad for her then. So I'm so glad that she's still in it, and she's breaking records and still going to be, hopefully still be in the Olympics this year.
Yes. And Simone Biles looks in fantastic shape. Just doing incredible things. So I can't wait for the Olympics. Now, Barkley says he's retiring. Hmm?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley says he's retiring after the 24-25
You think he's
season.
really retired?
Say that again.
He'll probably still do something like a podcast. He's not going to stay away completely. He just probably doesn't want to do the weekly grind. But he'll probably still do something like podcast or special guest or some stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't
He's like,
see
he's
him.
what? Because he's what, like 60? Is he 60? Or
61.
Yeah,
So yeah, something like that. Yeah, because he's
we
up there
get tired when
retiring.
we hit 60. We're tired in our 60s. We're tired of all this daily stuff. The daily talk and the daily prep. I'm in the 60s. I just want to be retired. So he'll probably still do some stuff though.
Yeah, I don't see him going away entirely at all.
Yeah.
But that'll be something we need to watch. And Jerry West. Jerry West, the great Laker.
Yeah.
The logo, his likeness is on the logo for the NBA. He was just he had a great playing career, and then even after he stopped playing, he was very influential in the back office for the Lakers. So a lot of those Lakers titles, Jerry West had a hand in those. He was a gentleman. He was from everything everybody said. I didn't see anything negative at all online about Jerry West once he died. Just accolades left and right for him.
Yeah. It was nice reading all the stuff about people was saying. Who was that? I'm trying to remember who was saying it. Just what a great guy he was, and just getting tips from him. And it's like you're getting all these tips from him, like saying all this stuff to him. I want to say it was Draymond Green, and he was saying he's getting all this stuff from him, and it's like, and it's the logo who's telling me this. And
the logo was telling him this. Yeah, I didn't know that was him for a long time. Only recently did I learn that was him, his silhouette on the logo. That's golly, you talk about infamy.
Now, Stephen A gets on these rants. One of Stephen A's rants this year had been he thought Jerry West should be removed from the logo. Instead, Michael Jordan's image should be on the logo. What do you guys think of that?
Michael Jordan's image is all over Nike. They don't need to be on the NBA logo too. No, who cares? It's just a logo. It could be anybody. And I don't. Stephen A bugs me, but he just talks to himself. Sometimes I think, no, we don't need. No, I don't think that's needed.
Leave the logo alone.
Yeah, leave the logo alone.
Yeah, I don't see any changes coming.
Plus, I think Nike would fight that pretty hard too, because the Air Jordans, they would fight that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and baseball. I know we don't talk a lot about baseball. I am a big baseball fan, but this week the St. Louis Cardinals and San Francisco Giants are going to play for the first time in the last remaining Negro League stadium that's still standing in Birmingham, Alabama, and they're going to have some of the original Negro League players. They said there are 157 who are still living.
Wow.
And I think they're going to have about 61 of them at the game. The stadium seats 10,000. And it's a whole week of activities there around the Negro Leagues. And this comes at a time when just recently MLB has agreed to include the Negro League stats and incorporate them into the regular stats for baseball. So those great Negro League players like Willie Mays and Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige, we will see that their stats are the same or even greater than the white players who were allowed to play in Major League Baseball until the late 40s. So I just think this is wonderful.
I do too. DEI is alive and well. It may not be yelled at, but that's definitely a product of diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives. And that's a huge, huge step for them to do that, because they could still keep it separate if they wanted to. But the fact that they were giving that amount of respect, I mean, the Negro Baseball League stuff is already in the Hall of Fame. And so this kind of just takes it to the next step. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. But they don't expect Willie Mays to be at the game. I think he's 93, if I remember correctly. They don't expect him to be at the game. So maybe he's ailing a little bit. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they are going to have a lot of the guys there, which is excellent. And a lot of this is due to the Negro League Museum, and the executive director of that museum is based in Kansas City, Missouri. But he is the person who has spent years combing through Black newspapers, because they were the ones who covered those games in the 40s and the 50s and so forth. They covered those games, and he got the box scores and the stories. And so all these little Black newspapers that maybe aren't even published anymore, they're in somebody's library somewhere. That's how they know what all the stats are.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Courier, the Amsterdam News. I don't know, the
Chicago Defender,
papers like that, man. They were covering stuff all over the country, local and national. Yeah, all those. Absolutely.
So it's really like this one man who took this on as his mission to get recognition for those Black players. And I don't know, somebody needs to do something, some corporate kind of red carpet event for him, because I just think this is wonderful.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're going to recognize him big time. That's great.
And we always try to do some type of salute to HBCUs. And this week, it's not a team, but rather the marching band at Morgan State University in Baltimore. They became the first HBCU band to march in the D-Day ceremonies, the parade they have for D-Day in Europe, where President Biden and other leaders of Western countries were. And first HBCU band to march in that parade.
Go Morgan State.
Nice.
The Bears.
Well, our people were over there for D-Day, so I think that's very appropriate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Good for them.
Yes. And just on a personal note, my children have a great uncle who hit the beaches in Normandy on D-Day. And they have a lot of pictures of that. He made sure that his children and other relatives, he's before he died, he sent out information and showed him there in Normandy. So we know Black folks have fought in every war this country has ever waged, but we were definitely there on the beaches of Normandy for D-Day. Okay, so now just open it up, Sports Palooza. Anything else you guys looking forward to in the coming months?
I'm looking forward to the uniforms for the U.S. Olympic team. I saw the pictures. They're actually going to get to wear jeans. I'm like, oh my God, that is so smart. That's all Ralph Lauren wears anyway. So why is he putting them in all that other tied up stuff? I love it. I mean,
so it's like a blue for the men and women. It's like a blue blazer with red and white trim. And then the men have a tie. And then everybody has on jeans.
And I think the shirts are striped. Yeah. So yeah, that's nice. I always get a kick out of seeing what the different countries wear. So that's going to be nice.
And eventually we're going to have a coach.
LA.
Oh my goodness.
So JJ Redick is supposed to be interviewed this weekend.
He doesn't have any coaching experience.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck? For head coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs to pay his dues and get some coaching experience. You can't just walk in and be head coach of the LA Lakers. Come on.
Okay, so if that happens or anything else, we'll keep our eyes on it and we'll be around to commentate on it. This has been another episode of Another Sports View, and we want to thank you for tuning in, and we're out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.